Okay.
Recording in progress. All right,
All right.
Rachel, aka Ray. Would you please introduce yourself, because I am not very good at that, and just say who you are, where you are in the world, and what you're doing today, please.
Yeah, so I'm Rachel Skinner. I am from
Ray.
Clarksville. I'm from Clarksville, Tennessee. I've lived here my whole life. My family has. And today I coached and I worked out and I did lots of schoolwork at a coffee shop, which I'm at now.
Nice.
Yes.
Awesome. All right. So I appreciate you taking your time. I do. And not making time, because I don't believe you made the time, but you dedicated the time to be here. So I appreciate that. So like I was telling you before, I just adored you from the minute I met you. You were so bubbly, and the one of the best ways I can describe it. So I met you at the pit. Um, you were part of the tunnel, though, right? You were doing the tunnel stuff too, weren't you?
Yeah, I did some of it. Yeah.
Yes. So I helped with that as well. But one of the things I liked was your heart and your just excitement was shining through. It was almost like I was watching you appreciate being there. Does that make sense? I don't know if
Yeah.
there's more concise words for that, but like I could see you enjoying the moment, realizing, being aware that this was a moment, as opposed to having to look back on it and be like, oh, I wish I would have. You were doing that. You were intentional about how you were spending your time and stuff. And that was shining through. And like I said, it was I'm cautious because I don't want to be like, hey, teenage girl, hi, you're super awesome and all up in your business, to be like, I want to get to know you, because there should be a lot of red flags that go off when that happens. Because sometimes I forget that I'm a boy, and because I'm just like, man, your heart is shining. This is awesome.
Yeah.
And then meeting you with Katie, I was just like, okay, I'm following both of you right now. This is happening. And then
Yeah.
like the cute stuff, like she's all in her car while you're taking a nap, and she's writing and you're sleeping, and you're like, oh, and it's awesome. Um, and I still don't understand, what's the relationship between you two.
Okay, so I met Katie actually through Instagram. Shocker. We met everyone through Instagram, I feel like, in CrossFit. So I was at a different gym at a time, and she was also at a different gym, and I just reached out to her. It was like right after COVID when all the gyms and stuff were starting to open, and I was like, I think they had some kind of event going on at her gym. I was like, hey, I think I'm gonna go. Like, will you be there? And she was there, and that was the first time that we met at her gym. And she switched to Ergon, which we're both at now. And um, long story short, eventually I ended up there as well. So we're both there now. We're both coaches, but she's like a big sister to me. Like, I tell her everything. I tell her anything. I text her at like 11 o'clock at night, like whenever it is. I know that she'll always be there. I can tell her anything or text her. And I don't know. Yeah, she's great.
See, I think that's huge, because one of the questions somebody asked me was, who is your go-to? And I realized, like, for my kids,
Mhm.
like I don't think they really have one. And so I ask them once in a while, like, who's your go-to? Because it's hard to be your folks. I know that, because that dynamic. But
Yeah.
what I love is that you intentionally you reached out, you made the effort, and you allowed yourself to be seen being vulnerable, and said,
Oh
hey,
yeah.
I don't know you, but I want to. And that's one of the things that I see, and I spot, and I love, because connectivity is what I've always been about.
Yeah.
Since I got sober 30 years ago, and all my degrees are in helping people, all my coaching stuff is helping, like it's what fulfills me. And what was so cool is so many wonderful people went to the pit. And when we were the first year, we wanted people there because it was instead of the games. And
Yeah.
then what we did, it morphed into, this is its own thing. Like, the pit is awesome because there's a hoedown. There's, people get to, stay with each other.
Yes.
It's cool. It's different. You have, people who have never done stuff before, and then people who, everybody on Instagram knows them. They're judging them and supporting them and talking to, and you're like, so
It's like the reunion of Instagram.
it really is. And what's really, to me, what's really awesome is the connection then becomes that other step of real. Instead of just here highlight, here highlight, here highlight, it's okay, now here we are, and it's not just highlights, it's, listen, you did awesome in that workout. I pooped the bed and everybody got to see me, and now, and everybody's like, dude, listen, you know what I mean? And that's to me what I want. That's
Yeah.
why I like coaching, because I'm more worried about, I love Bergeron's, like, the process. I love that because the process really is, if you're invested in the process, the outcome is going to be good regardless of what it looks like, if that makes sense. And what I liked is,
Oh yeah.
it's not like you were not trying or anything, but you were doing what you needed to do, but at the same time, you were like, listen, this is also a moment. I still get to be a kid. I get to have fun with people I know. I get to meet people that I kind of know and know them better. I'm with somebody who's awesome, who's supporting me. Like, it's just really cool. And then when I saw your Instagram about, oh, I might have just gotten baptized here in front of, or I did a thing or something like that, I was like, oh yeah, I just did a thing. Because how old are you again?
I'm 19.
You're 19. So, but still, for a
Yes.
19-year-old to be publicly seen with their beliefs, whatever beliefs they are, is scary. It's,
Yeah.
especially, nowadays, with Instagram, or with, people being able to comment on everything. Everybody's got an opinion and they think it's necessary to share it.
Oh yeah.
And that whole, back in the day, when if you didn't have something nice to say, you just don't say anything. People don't. People are like, no, I'm entitled to my opinion. Yes, you are. You're not entitled to share it. You don't need to share it with everybody.
Yeah.
And so, once again, that's why when I read that, I went, that's it. Please be on here. And you were just like, yes. I don't even
Yeah.
know
Of
what that
course.
means.
Yeah.
And being genuine at 19 in college is not easy. Being a girl who's genuine and genuinely nice and positive, I'm not saying free from, when I say positive, it's not free from struggle. It's,
Oh yeah.
intentionally looking at the good, intentionally trying to, live the way
Yeah.
you believe you should live. To me, that is amazing. And I mean, I'm jealous because I didn't have that at 19. I'm just like not lying about it. And so that's another big reason why I thought you would be an amazing addition to the, wise women words. Once I get all these people that know how to do stuff and hashtag things and promote things, how to do this so that more people can see stuff, because I would love for you to be the rule and not the exception. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah.
And that's part of the reason why I want to bring more light to people who bring light. That's really what this is. That's what I started a 50 or whatever, a nonprofit, which is a for impact, called Youth Esteem Services, which is something I've always believed in because it's easier to try to be preventative and help people before they spend lifelong years building horrible habits. And so, I still struggle. I still am a fallible human being. And that's with being sober for 30 years and trying to be a better person every day. So, I wanted to bring light to you, which I think it's apropos that you have a light shining behind you. I know you're like, don't worry about it. So yeah, I just wanted to see how you work in strength, resiliency, and identity, and what that just means to you. I don't really want to, like I told you, I don't really want to direct it as much as just see, what do those words mean to you? Because obviously you're dealing pretty well with them currently. I mean,
Try.
yes, trying. And so, I mean, it's a continuum. It's okay.
Yeah.
Because if you ever
You're
got to
never
the
gonna
end,
reach that point. Yeah.
correct. The point is death. Like, so,
Yeah.
like, we go ahead and push that away for a little bit. It's fine.
Yeah.
So, how would you say you're approaching strength, resiliency, or and identity?
Um. Okay. Let's see. I'll start with identity first.
Okay.
Because I feel like it's something prevalent that I'm somewhat dealing with right now. So after the pit, after the pit, I kind of took like a month or a couple weeks to do whatever I wanted, workout wise. But then it came to the point where it's like all like certain things in my body were starting to hurt, or not starting, but they weren't healing. Things were just getting worse, and it was like, okay, like it's time. We need to take a step back. And for my whole life, I've done competitive gymnastics for, I guess, 10 years. Literally, right after competitive gymnastics, I went straight into CrossFit. I did my first CrossFit competition within the first 2 months of doing CrossFit. And I've not had any downtime between, I guess, the past like 15 years of my life or so. Like, I've always been known as an athlete. I'm always active. I'm always have a goal. I'm always working towards a competition, something of that nature. And within the past month, like, it's kind of freaked me out a little bit because I'm doing like a lot of like rehab stuff, physical therapy type stuff. And it's just like, I don't have a competition to work for. I don't have a goal to work for. And it's like, what the heck? Like, who am I? Like, it's just weird to be in that position that you've never been in. And I guess it was, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks ago, I had decided to be baptized. Um, and that's kind of like a whole nother story of its own. But just through that, like, realizing my identity isn't, it's not an athlete, it's not this or that. It's kind of, believing in Christ, believing in God, like, making sure that whatever I do, it's, shining through Him, whether it's, working out, being an athlete, or doing schoolwork, being a college student, whatever I decide to do, just doing it, like, through Him. And just I guess the identity thing, something that I'm still working through. But I guess as far as that's kind of where I'm at now with it. Um, I like to, I don't know, when other people ask, it's more of now, it's not that you should identify yourself as, a soccer player, a gymnast, a musician, whatever. It's more of, I like to be seen as someone who's strong, like, regardless of what I do. Maybe you're a strong musician or a strong athlete, whatever it is, because I feel like strong is something that you can always be, regardless of whatever endeavor you choose.
That's awesome.
And yeah, whatever adjective you want to use, strong, resilient, whatever kind of descriptive word. But as far as like resiliency goes, I feel like I've learned that through gymnastics, especially. In gymnastics, I was never the most gifted gymnast at all. It took me the longest to get skills. Some girls, they would try something new and get it like within a day, and it would take me like a month to get. But it teaches you just like no matter how many times you fall, like you get back up. Even if you can't see like where you're going, you keep going. And I think like you can apply that in pretty much anything you do if you just look close enough. Like in CrossFit, it's maybe for some people it's learning how to snatch or getting a new skill, whatever, double unders. Like you just have to keep doing it, and not let yourself like not get down on yourself and make the outcome or the effort like over the outcome. Like the effort's more important than the outcome. It's the effort where you learn the stuff, and the outcome is just like the icing on top of the cake. I mean, even at the pit, like just leading up to it, there's a lot of long training days, and a lot of the times like involved me crying, and it was hard. But I never gave up, and I knew regardless of what had happened at the pit, like it was more of what I became like through the process of getting there, because that experience, like I'm never going to get back. And I knew that going into it, because it's my last year. Like I'm never going to be able to compete with kids my age like that ever again. And like for me, I only had 1 year in the 16, 17 like age division in CrossFit, because that's when I quit gymnastics. And I don't know, like only having 1 year, it was just like, oh my gosh, like I'm always with older people, which is great because you learn a lot more from them. But it's also super nice to be around kids your own age. I think especially kids now, if they do, I can only speak for the sports I've done, but like gymnastics and CrossFit, it's definitely different. Like I know especially for CrossFit, kids that are in high school, we don't go out to parties. We prioritize training, prioritize the sleep schedule, go to bed early or get up early to train, prioritize nutrition, that sort of thing. And it's not what the general population does. And so sometimes when you're doing that, you can feel like really alone, and like, what's the point of doing this? Like, why do I like to do it? So just having that time to be with all those kids around you, it was just like, I'm not alone. Like, it was so great. And just being able to take in like every moment of it, regardless of how I did, was just like super special. And I don't know. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's it. To me, it showed. And that what I like is that's what I tried for any of my athletes. That's just what I try for my kids. That's what I try for, because time is fleeting, and no matter
Yeah.
how, it's you can never stand in the same water twice, because it's always moving.
Yeah.
And I love how you put that. It's the effort.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, like going back to the, like having people or like having your go-to, I guess kids around my age. I lost my train of thought there.
That's okay.
Hang on, let me think. Let me get back to it. Okay, I got it. So kids my age. So it's hard to find that group of people, but I think you just have to keep searching and keep searching. And, when you have, always agree with my parents, or they don't agree with me on, you know, what I like to do. They think that I should be out going to parties or, you know, hanging out more with friends or doing whatever. But it's just like, it's not me. It's not what I feel like I've been called by God to do. I feel like I've been put in certain places for certain reasons. I think I quit gymnastics for a reason. I think I switched CrossFit gyms for a reason and ended up at Ergon for a reason. And now I'm coaching, and I've met some of the best people ever that I think ultimately have led me to, you know, the idea of getting baptized and believing in God and that sort of thing. You know, I think it all happens for a reason. If we just take a second to look around and be patient, and not, if someone says something that, you know, maybe they're related to you, so it is your parents, and it's like, no, we think you should be doing this, and you think you should be doing something else, and, you know, it's like reasonable. Like, I think you should hold out and wait, and that doesn't mean it's going to not be hard, but, you know, I've kind of not really fought, but kind of fought for, you know, being able to do what I do now, as far as, you know, spending as much time in the gym as I do coaching and that sort of thing. Or even with gymnastics, it was the same thing. I was always at the gym. I just like working hard. Like, I just like working hard regardless of what it is. I like the grind. I like the process better than any of the outcome could be, because I know how much I'm able to find during it. So,
And I think that's huge. That's it. That's find during it. You
yeah.
know, like you're in college right now. Okay, let's, you know, what can I find during college, instead of just being like,
Yeah.
oh, I just can't wait for this to be over, or, you know,
Yeah.
we have first world problems, you know, like
Yeah.
which CrossFit gym that's expensive do I go to, and you know what like
Yeah.
those are first world problems. And what I value and I very much appreciate is, like I said, is how your resiliency, which Emily that we interviewed at Avery, she said tenacity, which is like resiliency in action. And I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
And that's what it is, because like having tenacity and saying, all right, I know this might not be popular, but I'm going to do it. I know this might not be the easiest way, but it's
Yeah.
the way I feel like I should go. And I,
It's like when I was I don't even I don't even know how, like, I I guess beginning January of this year, like, being the idea of being like a wolf kind of as like a symbol, like, it's been something that's stuck with me, because a lot of the times, like, I feel like you have to be a wolf, like, you have to be the one leading the pack, you have to step out and do it alone, or else it's not going to get done. Like, you have to be okay with, you know, going against the status quo. um I think for my yeah, it was for my birthday last year. My coach, she got me a stuffed wolf and a book, and it's called I think it's called Leading the Pack, something like that. It's by Abby Wambach,
oh
Glennon Doyle's wife.
yeah,
um and like, it is such a good book. So just since then, like, the idea of being a wolf, and I feel like I'm very much a wolf, and like what I do, or like the things that I have done, because I'm not afraid to, you know, step out for what makes me happy, and instead of what pleases other people. Because I think that's what a lot of, you know, the transition from high school to college to choosing a job, I feel like a lot of people just settle. They settle for what's easy. They settle
yep.
for what's convenient in the moment, instead of just, you know, being uncomfortable, not having answers, you know, waiting it out until you find something that you actually enjoy, which is, like, right now, that's what I'm trying to do, because I don't want to settle and have a job that I hate, or that, you know, the idea of I want it to be over. Like, I want to be like, you know, I don't want this to end. I want to wake up in the morning and actually enjoy what I do. And, you know, I want to want to learn more about it and not just go through the motions.
Well, that is stinking fantastic. Because, but that's part of the reason why I'm gonna not go on a very big limb here and say you're gonna be a good coach, because the desire to want to be better, and
Yeah.
that's, what I liked is, I always tell people, is it uncomfortable or unbearable? And if it's
Yeah.
unbearable, you're gonna stop. It's uncomfortable. And convenient is not comfortable. Or yeah, convenient is comfortable.
Yeah.
Immediate gratification is comfortable, but it's also not necessarily rewarding. It's not long lasting. It's not necessarily, I mean, sometimes it can be, but working for it really is working for something gives you appreciation, because the process, not because of the outcome.
Yeah.
The
I mean,
effort.
the outcome is, one split second of it.
Yep.
It doesn't last very long, but the process, it lasts forever. The pit lasted, a couple days, and it was like, it's over. But then it's like you get to go right back into the process. So I don't know, if you can learn to appreciate the process and like it more than the outcome, then you're always going to be happy.
Okay, I'm going to end it there. Please don't get off yet, because that's a perfect way to end it, if that's okay.
Okay.
So I appreciate you taking your time, and yeah, please don't hang up.
Okay.